How's it going, guys? I'm Dustin with Hard Cruise Racing, and if you've watched some of our other videos, you'll know that this truck right here is blown up. Yep. We were racing it a few weeks ago. Well, it's probably quite a few weeks by the time I post this. When we were racing it, we had a major loss of power. Get it in. It's knocking terribly. We thought maybe it's a piston slab, maybe it's something else. We tear the head off the engine, and piston 4 simply pushes down, okay? I have not pulled the block out of this engine to see if the block is trashed or if the crank's trashed or whatever. Well, here's my thought on it, okay? We're already talking about a fairly stock engine that's in this truck. So, to build a new engine, we don't really have to go too ridiculous with it, right? It can be a fairly stock engine. And that's exactly what I plan to do. I want to build a very mild, pretty stock engine that I don't have to worry about race fuels and other stuff to throw back in this dirt truck, and we can go out and have fun. So that's what we did. I hunted all over the internet, all over your Facebook Marketplace, all over all these sites to try to find me a decent Ford 2.3. And it had to be pre like 1991 or 1989 or something around there, so that way we still had a distributor port. Now, I know that some of like the 89s, they didn't run distributors, but they still had the slot for the distributor. They were using the exact same block molding, and then they would put a cap in it. So that's what we did. We hunted down a 1989 Ford Bronco Sport 2.3. So here we go. Just back from the junkyard. Well, it's been sitting in the back of my truck for a couple days, but you get the point. A Ford 2.3. This is from a 1989 Ford Bronco Sport, and my understanding was that this was in a running driving truck when the truck was crashed. Has 100,000 miles on it, and it comes with a 30-day warranty, guys. This is an engine that comes with a warranty that it'll run and drive. So that's something you don't exactly pass up. So what I'm going to be doing is tearing all the extra nonsense off of here, because we do have to stay distributed, we do have to stay carbed. So tearing all the nonsense off here, we're going to make sure we can use our same intake manifold, our same exhaust manifold, and we're going to throw it back together and put it in the truck and see what happens, okay? Now, if you look over here, you can see that cap right there where I was talking about, where it does have a slot for a distributor. Same casting, you can see the plug in there, you can see the bracket, and then they just plug it off. Which means that if you're going to race a Ford 2.3, like our Ford Ranger, you have a lot of options for engines. You know, they put the 2.3 in Mustangs and Pintos and all sorts of other things, but also they put it in the Ford Ranger for a long time, all the way up through the 90s. Now, if you get later into the 90s, I think it's past like 92, you won't have that slot. So that's the big thing. So I'm going to pull all the electronics off here, all the extra stuff, the intake, all of that, and then we're going to get down to the bare bones. So, yeah, I don't plan on doing this all straight, like right now. I got things to do, places to be, and it's obviously raining, so I'm spraying everything down with some Dawn dish soap, because I do want to break down the greases, and then I'll video some of this over time, but you guys get the gist. We're going to pull it down, we're going to get it off, and then we're going to throw it together, and then we're going to do a little will it run, because we need to know if it's a good engine, and if we're set to go racing. So that's the plan. Alright guys, so just a quick update. I know I haven't been videoing stuff, but you know, it's just simple tear stuff off. I mean, I'm literally just making piles on each side of the engine. I'm just tearing stuff off. So what I did is I got everything tore off this the exhaust side here. I scrubbed it down, and I gave it a good little spray of silver paint, okay? I'm not worried about this head. I'm not going to use this head. This is a 8 spark plug head. Okay, they went to an 8 spark plug where they switched to coil packs, so you have your leading and trailing spark, so that way you know you had a full burn, yada yada yada. I'm gonna swap the head off here. That way you can take my my carbureted intake and my headers, and yeah, we can build a little race engine here. Okay, I am leaving this engine stock for now. I say for now because who knows what happens in the future. But the simple fact of the matter is we're in the middle of the season, and I need to get this engine thrown in the truck so we can get out there and go racing. This engine also has a 30-day warranty on it. Now guys, I'm not talking I'm going to go rev it to the moon and see if I can get it to blow up. But here's a simple reality of it. If it has something stupid like a bad crank or blown pistons or something dumb like that, I'm going to get a different engine out of it. Yes, it's a junkyard engine, but it has a 30-day warranty. And I think that's important to state here. So what I did though is I just scrubbed this side down. I used a brush, I used some Brillo pads, I used a drill with a wire wheel on it, and I got everything scrubbed down, and I sprayed this side of the engine. If we come around to the other side of the engine, you still see grease and grime, you still see rust over here. I'm just working one side at a time. Now, I wouldn't usually say work one side at a time. I'd say tear it apart and scrub everything down. But here's the reality of it. I don't need it to be perfect. But by going with a bright color like silver, I'm able to see if I'm leaking easier, okay? So I'm scrubbing this side. I'll scrub the other side and do the same, you know, tape some stuff off and paint it. And then when I get it up on the engine hoist, I'll probably, you know, scrub the oil pan down, get that sprayed. And then my intake and my valve cover. My intake I do need to paint. I need to scrub it down and paint. My valve cover is also silver, and this is just so I can see leaks. Okay, it's not about looking good in the truck. I mean, I do want it to look good, okay, obviously, because it's going to be my new engine. But it's a little bit different, okay, because I don't want it to look like, you know, it doesn't have to be completely perfectly scrubbed down, but I need to be able to see if I have oil leaks or, you know, coolant leaks or whatever it may be. Silver and white's your best bet on that. I mean, look at the truck, right? The truck's not in perfect condition, but it can look better than it could. So make your new engine look new. I did a video on restoring the valve cover. I ground off a lot of tabs. I ground off a little Ford design. Again, it's not perfect. It's not a show truck. It's a race truck, but it looks a lot better. So my next steps here are get this get this timing belt off, get this head off here, and then ultimately, you know, kind of go through everything and make sure everything's going to work fine. You know, I need to make sure that my new head will work with that timing setup. I'm going to take that plastic cover off the back because racing them, I want to be able to rinse this engine off after every event. That's just part of my, you know, cleanup, if you so to say. What I am going to do though, before I go changing my heads off, I want to scrub this side down and paint it as well. I did tape off the other side, my exhaust ports, but if I do end up getting a little bit of paint up there in the head, I don't want to have to worry about it, you know? So I'm going to scrub this side down, I'm going to give it some paint, I'm going to try to keep things taped off. You can see I got some holes plugged back there. So we'll tilt the engine back the other way, scrub it down, paint it, and then pull the head off and throw the new one on. So yeah, that's the plan. Alright, so quick update. I got the new engine completely stripped down and painted silver. I'm going to paint all the accessories and things like that gold. I think the silver and gold will look clean and still give me that, you know, easy view of if we're having a leak, if we're having an issue. So that's the plan. Make it silver, gold, make it look nice, and make it, well, relatively fast. So those are all painted up and ready to go. I got the carb up on the workbench. I'm going to clean that up. I don't know how much I'm going to do with the carb, again, because I don't know the true nature of the original engine. I don't know, you know, if there's issues, if there's leaks, or what's going on, okay? Well, I do notice that when I took the intake off, the intake manifold that is, it was ported out. That wasn't something I did. I don't know if it's ported well. It didn't look the cleanest, but it is ported. So I'm going to clean up this, the carb. I'm going to at least spray it down, make it look nicer, spray everything out, soak it a little bit, so that way I know it operates smoothly, you know? And the final thing I'm going to have to get to is the head. I have it laying on its side right now because I was trying to clean up the bottom a little bit, go through and scrub everything with that Brillo pad there. I'm going to take off the water inlet right there and the pulley and so on, get them sprayed in that same gold, so I just have a nice uniform silver and gold look across the entire engine, and then get that put on the new engine. Because I am running a carbed and distributor kind of series, the new engine's head and intake manifold and all of that need to be swapped over. The head that's on the engine is a 8 plug, and this only has 4. The 4 along this side, there's no sparks plugs on the other side. So I'm going to get these cleaned out. I'm going to get everything inspected, sprayed down, just, you know, relatively clean. I want to make sure there's no gunk on anything before I go putting this back in the engine. Now, I'm not saying that this is the last time this engine will be apart. I think come winter time, I'll probably pull everything apart just to inspect it, clean it, and spray it down again. So I'm not concerned. You know, we're mid-season right now. I'm just trying to get this thing in the truck and going, but I want it to look nice as well. And that's kind of the issue that I'm having. Not issue. The issue internally that I'm having is that I want this engine to look nice and run nice, but I got to get it in the truck and running, you know. So that's the plan right now. The other issue is it's been like in the mid 90s all week. I don't do good in the heat. Okay, if you can see the camera shaking a little bit, it's because I'm actually shaking. It's probably 85 degrees in here. Last year I almost died because of the heat, so I'm very cautious in the heat. So I've been mainly in the race trailer with the AC running, which kind of throws a wrench in the idea of pulling the other engine out so I can swap the trans over and putting a new engine in, because it's just simply too hot for me, guys. When I was in the military, I had an issue where I overheated real bad, on top of, you know, traumatic brain injury, and now my body just simply can't handle it, and it sucks, but it is what it is. It did push me to do things like build my own cooling shirts for racing, so maybe I'll post a video on that. But right now I'm trying to get this engine cleaned up so I can get it put in. The guy that I race with, the guy that technically owns the truck, he's out of town anyways, so it's a good time for me to say, don't rush things, get it put together right the first time so we can go have fun in racing, right? So that's the plan. I'm going to get back to it. So, yeah. Yeah, I've been slacking at videoing, haven't I, guys? So the old engine's out, and it's over there on the ground, because the new engine's going back together. Right now the head's not bolted on. I just set it on there for preview, but you can see the headers here. The intake's also painted gold to match it. So, yeah, I just went and picked up a new head gasket. It's over there. And I picked up a new freeze plug. I'm going to try out one of these rubberized compression plugs, and we're going to see how it works. So that's the plan. Get that plug snugged down, make sure it's sealed, get the head bolted on, and then bolt it to the transmission and get it back in the car, and then we can add all of our accessories and put everything in timing. It's almost ready to run, guys. It's really close. Alright guys, so here's a little update on the dirt circle track truck. We got that old engine pulled out, we got the new engine put in, and yeah, we had to do some modifications to the exhaust to get everything to line up right. The transmission seems to be sitting just a little bit higher. Not sure why. Is what it is, really. Maybe this engine's sitting a little lower, maybe something else, I don't know. But the rear of the transmission is sitting just a little bit higher, and everything is looking amazing. We had issues with the dipstick where it broke off inside. We had to do a big extraction. I posted a video out for that, so yeah, check that video out, okay? That's just how I went about the extraction, because it was completely solidly stuck, and what I did worked. So I just got oil in this thing. Going to come out tomorrow morning. We're going to drain and refill the trans. I might drain and refill the rear end, I'm not sure yet. I'm going through and kind of overhauling everything while I have the opportunity. In a week, there are 2 different races that we can race at. One on Friday, one on Saturday. I know of a bunch of guys who are going to the race on Friday night and then driving over to the second race, staying the night there, waking up the next morning and racing the second day. So we might run that. I'm not sure yet, guys. I want to get this thing fired up, and I want to go through some heat cycles. I want to go through some testing before I even consider, loading this thing into the race trailer and going for a long drive. That's just my opinion on it. Now, I think I have everything lined up timing-wise, as far as running off of both top dead center when I set it. Well, top dead center off the crank where top dead center was. The marking on that crank is incorrect. There's a top dead center marking off to the left there. See that white mark? It says TDC on the front of that crankshaft pulley. I don't think that's TDC. I'm just being honest with you. It's keyed and I can't adjust it. Where I have it set right now is TDC, where the piston is at the very top and just starting to rotate to go back down the other way. I then have camshafts, both timed internally. I did make sure that they were correct inside before I put the pulley itself on. And the way this is set up is that the pulley points down towards the oil pump pulley, and there's a mark down there that points back up, and that's how those 3 get timed, okay? And then from there we still have to put the distributor in, still have to put the intake on, and then I need to run an electric fuel pump because the new block does not have the cutout for the mechanical fuel pump. So I have an electric fuel pump back on a different project. It's on a lowrider project I have. So we need to get this old pump off, get the new one on, and then I'm gonna see if it fires. I mean, that's where we're at, guys. A few more things, changing out fluids, bolting stuff up, and we're gonna fire it up. How's it going, guys? I'm Dustin from Hard Cruise Racing, and I know some of you guys love your Will It Runs, your Will It Run videos, right? So let's see if this old Ford Ranger right here will run. Alright guys, so I've tried to hook up my second battery just to see how it would run, and it kind of just seems to be doing the same thing. I'm starting to think starter issue. Alright guys, so quick update and conclusion to this video. I am very confident that it's a locked up starter. When I went through, I did a ton of tests. I tried to jump the coil, I tried to bypass the coil and go straight from the battery to the starter with the jump lead. I've done all sorts of fun little things, okay? So ultimately, the engine is inside the truck. Everything's wired up, everything's ready to go. The electric fuel pump, I did end up putting one on here just for reference for other people. The one I put on here, I grabbed straight from the shelf from O'Reilly. It's a little Otterbach fuel pump, and I put it right on top of the fuel cell. I put it right into the old lines, guys, and it seems like it's going to flow plenty of enough fuel compared to the old mechanical fuel pump. So that is that is wired back here, and that goes off of my main power switch. So when I power the truck on, or I add power to it, fuel pump will kick on, everything will charge up. And then if you look in here, which I never showed an interior picture of this truck, you can see right here's my main power switch on this side. Then I have a toggle and a push button start. So those things just need to get figured out. Okay, I do need to get a new starter. I have one ordered. It's a starters aren't cheap. I think it's like 120 bucks for the cheapest starter. Obviously, if it's getting used for racing, it's not going to get used that much, and I can always push start it if I need be. So I'm not going to look for an expensive starter. So we're getting the cheapest one out there, and I'm going to throw it in here. We're going to see if it works. I'm going to assume it's a starter. So stick around for my upcoming videos, and you'll see me, you know, putting a new starter on there and seeing if it'll fire. We did not go out for that double weekend event because we had a lot of stuff going on, and obviously it just wasn't running. I didn't get to go through my testing I wanted to. I'm not going to push the time window. That's how you cause major damage and things like that. So I need to get everything together, get it running, do some testing, and then we'll worry about racing the event. I believe there are 8 more races to the season. One of them is this weekend, and I'm not going to be able to make it because we are members of a charity that's holding our main event this weekend. Our main source of income to be able to give back to a lot of different groups. So I have to do that. That's not a questionable thing. So soon I will get the starter put in here. We will do a first startup video, get it fired, and then we'll go from there. We'll go through some testing, we'll go through some tuning, and then it'll get ready to be out on the track. And yeah, we'll see how it does. I don't have good expectations. I don't have anything that I'm comparing to right now, okay? First time I ever drove this truck was when it was already down on 1 cylinder, so it'll be great.